One of the key areas that the Obama administration has been legislating on illegally from the executive level is the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, with horrendous implications for our whole economy, for private business, for energy. Could you address that?
Well, the EPA is one of those bureaucratic agencies that I believe is unconstitutional. They certainly operate outside of constitutional authority. Coming into the state of Oklahoma and literally shutting down Oklahoma businesses because we are not following some bogus or federal mandate, and telling our farmers and our business owners how to maintain their equipment, maintain their farmlands. We know better how to do that here in Oklahoma than anyone in Washington, D.C. knows how to do it. So I believe that is a perfect example of government gone wild. We should not even have the EPA. We have our own DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality, right here in the state of Oklahoma. And we're quite capable of taking care of our own land and of our own businesses here in this state without the intervention of a federal edict.
It gets down to fundamentally the constitutional principle of reserved versus enumerated powers, right? Because the federal government has those delegated enumerated powers, which have nothing to do with what the founding fathers intended. All those areas of environment that the EPA has taken over, that is reserved to the states.
Reserved to the states. Article 1, Section 8 clearly defines the authority that the states gave the federal government when we, the people, set up this federal government. It was set up to be small with defined, very limited enumerated powers. And they're spelled out in Article 1, Section 8. Of course, the 10th Amendment says if it's not listed in Article 1, Section 8, everything else is reserved to the states and to the people within those states to make those decisions. And I firmly believe, Bill, that the biggest threat to our freedom, the biggest threat to our economic prosperity is coming from Washington, D.C. today. And the Republican Party is complicit. The Republican leadership has become complicit in taking away our economic prosperity and our liberty.
Well, again, when we get back to the EPA, the regulatory branches, the EPA is one of innumerable alphabet agencies, all of which constitute the illegal fourth branch of government. All these regulatory agencies that exercise legislative, executive, and judicial powers. And the Small Business, or rather, Small Business Administration and the Competitive Enterprise Institute have done studies showing that it's costing our economy $1.8 trillion a year, all of those regulatory things. So it's a huge drag on our whole economy, as well as being enormously oppressive.
It's a drag on the economy, and it also closes the doors of many small business owners. They just can't comply with the unreasonable regulations that are coming from Washington, D.C., nor should they have to. The state of Oklahoma, we have a pretty fair business climate here in this state. We have a fairly low regulatory and tax structure, and we maintain that because we want to make Oklahoma an attractive place for businesses to survive and even thrive. Yet the federal government, with all of their bureaucracy heaped on top, and usually unfairly, it actually has potential to shut businesses down. And that should not be. That is not a proper function of government. A proper function of government is to protect our basic rights of life and liberty, not to come in and mandate how businesses operate within a particular state. Leave that to the people of the states to make that decision.
Oklahoma particularly is very important in energy production.
You bet.
Federal regulations and interference are having a big impact on that.
Yeah, the federal government just doesn't have any authority. All of these bureaucratic agencies are meant for one particular thing. It is to control the people of the states. And that is not what our founding fathers set up in this country. Our founding fathers set up these states united, individual, sovereign, free states, ready to compete with each other. And we set up this federal government to basically protect our borders, protect our basic rights of life and liberty. And the federal government has far usurped their authority. And until we get back and start running our country and our states as our founding fathers intended, very quickly our liberty and our economic prosperity is being stripped away from us.